Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters and honored guests. I want to tell the whole world about Toastmasters. How many people here have ever felt very uncomfortable about speaking to a group of strangers? Has anyone ever felt that way? A few. How many people have ever felt terrified to speak in front of strangers? I'm not alone, thank goodness. This is great. Well, I want to tell you a little bit about myself. It started in the 3rd grade. I was in special choir, and I was going to sing at the PTA. Our choir was going to sing at the PTA. I was so excited. And so I was getting dressed, and my brother came in and said, "Do you have stage fright?" "What's stage fright?" I said, "Well, you have butterflies." "Butterflies? What's butterflies?" "Well, you get a little nauseated, you get a little sick, you're nervous." No, I finished getting dressed. Well, I got in the car with my parents, and we started going down the road. Now, how many people believe that a power of suggestion to young people? Does anyone believe that? Well, halfway there, I started feeling butterflies. It was not a pleasant experience. And so I said, "Daddy, Daddy, stop the car. I have butterflies." And I threw open the door. To make the long story short, the butterflies flew in formation. It was not a fun thing. I was a little foggy here because I think my folks took me home and they sort of cleaned me up, took me to school, and I was standing on the side of the stage. The choir had already started. In the front row, in the center, was my empty chair. And as I was staring, a teacher came up and grabbed my hand and said, "Come on, Richie." "No, no." "Come on, Richie, it's not too late." "No, I have stage fright." From that moment on, it changed my whole life. I didn't want to go to any type of play, school plays. I wasn't involved in anything. I didn't speak unless I was called on. I sat in the very back of the rows. Is that why y'all are back there? You didn't want to get called on? Is that the reason? So I tried to hide behind people. And everything was going nice and smooth. And have you ever heard a ship is safe in the harbor? A ship is safe in a harbor. But something terrible happened in the 12th grade. An oh no moment. Has anyone ever had an oh no moment? I had a teacher. Her name was Mrs. Roberts. Alice. I called her Oral Roberts. She wanted us to have oral reports, and that way it was not going to happen with me. I had it written up. But she called, "Mr. Rodgers, do you have your oral report?" "No, ma'am, I don't." The next week, "Mr. Rodgers, do you have your oral report?" "No, I don't." The 3rd week, the same question. I'll make it short. "No, I don't." But something terrible happened. The oh no moment was coming about. She pulled back her seat, her eyes glaring. She took big long steps and she walked to the back row where I was sitting. And then she glared at me. I still remember her eyes piercing at me saying, "Just who do you think you are? Do you think you're so smart? Do you think you're a big man? Do you think you're ever going anywhere in this world?" I could have crawled under my seat. I was so humiliated among my peers. If she only asked me, "Why don't you want to speak in public, in private?" I would have told her, "I am terrified to get in front of people and talk." It's terrible, but that moment never came. I started working out in the shops out at Tinker Air Force Base, a little place south or east of here. Have y'all ever heard of Tinker Air Force Base? Oh, y'all have. Well, that's good. And I was a machinist out in the shops. And a supervisor would come up to me and say, "How would you like to be a supervisor?" And I would go, "No, thank you." And then one of my friends that had moved upstairs, "With your qualifications, you would be great upstairs. You would help us out so much. What do you say? It'd be better pay. It would be a better retirement. What do you say?" No, no, thank you. Because I knew I was going to have to speak before people, and that wasn't going to happen. A ship is safe in the harbor. I worked 37.5 years at Tinker, and I retired. My chance for advancement is gone. I retired about 5 years ago. But I started thinking all the times I was asked to do something, and I said no. It was like a big dragon. And every time I said no, the dragon would blow flames at me and got bigger. Would you like to be a supervisor? No. Would you like to be a Sunday school teacher? No. And I just kept backing up. Then I had a friend that told me about Toastmasters, and I thought I'd check it out. I went to a local Toastmasters club. I stepped in the door. People were so friendly. It was like hometown week. It was great. I couldn't believe how friendly Toastmasters are. They're wonderful. And they said, we'd like to have you as a table topic person. I said, what is table topics? So we'll ask you a question. You'll stand to speak impromptu. You'll probably see it here in a few minutes. And you have 1 to 3 minutes to speak. I said, yes. Then I started saying to myself, what did you say? I said, yes. Why did you say yes? I don't know. I should have said it. Not the first time. But anyway, they called on me, asked me a question, and I stood and spoke for 1 minute and 23 seconds. Can I hear applause? Yay! Oh, man, that was great. I signed up for Toastmasters that night. It was so exciting. About 3 weeks later, I gave what they call the icebreaker, the first speech. My hands were on the lectern, white knuckle. My knees were shaking. My heart was going about 200 beats a minute, maybe a little bit more. My voice was sort of squeaky. And I spoke for about 5 minutes. And they clapped. I couldn't believe it. And then I said another speech and another speech. And my self-confidence got stronger and stronger. I started writing articles, fighting the dragon of fear in the little papers around town, Mustang, Norman, Midwest City, Moore. And someone handed our district governor some of my articles that they had read. And I was honored within the first year of Toastmasters being Toastmaster of the Year for the state of Oklahoma. Another thing that happened is I like the ballroom dance. Does anyone ballroom dance by any chance? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. My girlfriend and I go to the Oklahoma City Golf and Country Club, a black tie function, joie de vivre, which means the joy of life. And we go up there and dance and have a good time. And the president of the club said, by the way, you're in Toastmasters. How would you like to be the next president? I said, yes. And last year I became president of Joie de Vivre. I stand before 100 people and speak. And I have a board of doctors, attorneys, accountants that I talk to and that I speak with. Who, me? I'm a retired machinist. What made the difference? Toastmasters. Maybe that's why our motto is Toastmasters.
Where leaders are made.
Where leaders are made. Toastmasters, where leaders are made. And I can tell you, it has literally changed my life. And I'd like to say that ships are safe in a harbor, but that's not what they're built for. And I encourage everyone to enter into Toastmasters, because you will get that confidence. You will understand how to communicate with people. You'll be able to talk, communicate, you'll be able to listen. It's a wonderful club, and you should grow. And just remember, when you do get into Toastmasters, I hope your people will say, I want to tell the whole world about Toastmasters, Madam Toastmaster.